Welcome back to my series, My Month Long with a Billionaire that I met on Rye. If you haven't watched 1 and 2, go ahead and watch those first and then get back to me here. Last we left off, we had pulled up to the hour-long drive after to the new mall, and we were in Cabo, and the billionaire man, Harley, was like, okay, well, I'm going to take some calls in the car. You can go with my card in there, and then I will meet you back here after like 45 minutes, and then we will go back to the hotel because it was probably like an hour from the villa, so we needed to go back and beat the traffic, go have some food, hang out, and then we had that investor meeting, or he had that investor meeting the next day. But I ended up attending, and we'll get into that. I walk out, and we're near the harbor, we're near all the water, and so there's like all these like little ships at dock, and then there's the luxury mall. I walk out with my slip dress and his card in hand, and I am ready to spend some money, y'all. I walk in, and the mall is nice, but unfortunately Cabo doesn't have the best luxury shopping, so don't worry, y'all. If this feels like an underwhelming shopping haul, once we get back to LA with this man, trust me, he's going to spend the real money, so we will get to that. I walk in, and there's a lot of places like Mont Blanc, Victoria's Secret, there's a Lacoste store, and then just like some other stores that I didn't heard of that were just local to Mexico. I knew that I only had like 45 minutes, that I needed to get an outfit for dinner that night, that I needed to get an outfit for the next day, since we were only staying there for a day, and then I was just going to try to spend as much other money as I could while in there and getting accessories and cute things. I walk into a store, it's called like Purification Garcia. I ended up getting 2 dresses there. I got this long maxi flower dress, and then I also got this strapless black dress. I walked in, the girl barely greeted me, and I was just pulling shit off the shelves, y'all. She was like, oh, can I get you a dressing room? And I was like, yes, absolutely. I need to quickly. I'm on a time limit, and I need to spend as much money as possible. And she was like, okay, got you. I brought those 2 in. I tried them on. They fit great. I tried on a couple other items that didn't work out. So I just got these 2 items and I walked out. I knew that I really wanted to get like a little bag while I was there. I saw that they had a Longchamp store. So I ran in there because I knew that I wanted one of those little baby Longchamp bags that everyone had at the time that was like blowing up on TikTok. So I wanted to get a baby pink one specifically because I knew since I was in Mexico, I wanted like a little blush pink situation that could just fit everything that I wanted because y'all, your girl is a baby purse girl. I walk in and the girl's like, hi. I'm like, hi, I was wondering if you had the little baby Longchamp and if you had it in a dusty pink because I saw this one online. And she was like, oh yeah, let me go look. She walks back there and she's like, okay, yes, we have 1 left. I'm like, hell yeah. She bags it up for me and I am on my way. I am furiously and fast walking, y'all, in there. There's a lot of tourists in there. I'm hearing all different accents and people from different areas. And I see this store called Cray. It looks like a very cute boutique. And so I walk in there and I see that they have a lot of different cute dresses and 2 pieces. So I ended up snagging this little 2-piece that was like pretty expensive for being just this tiny piece. I think it was like $400, but it was like locally made. All their stuff is locally made from Mexico. I'm looking for like a luxury store, y'all. I see like Swarovski. I don't see a jewelry store because I was like, maybe I want to get a piece of jewelry. And then I see the MAC store. And I was like, oh yes, she's a MAC girl. I run in there and I end up getting a bunch of lip liners, some lipstick, some eyeshadow, and some powder. And as I'm like walking out of there, I'm trying to look and see what other stores I can hit really quick. And Harley texts me and he's like, hey, beautiful, I'm really sorry, but we have to go. I was like, all right, it's fine. This man will spend more money on me later. Probably, I want to say, spent around like $700-800 in there. I walk back to the car and I get in and he's smiling and he's like, did you get everything you need? And I was like, absolutely. He was like, so what stores do they have in there? And I'm kind of telling him and he was like, oh, he's like kind of disappointed. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought they had better stores in there. I'm like, it's okay. I like got some dresses and some outfits, so I have everything that I need for us to make it until tomorrow. And he was like, okay, when we get back to LA, I'm going to take you to some nice designer stores and we'll get you like some proper stuff. I'm like, say less. We're driving back. It's about an hour back and he's basically on the phone the whole time, just like business calls and everything. And what I'm noticing is that he is incredibly calm and an avid listener on these business calls. He lets the person talk a lot. He asks very small questions and he just kind of like agrees and just very mindful of the things that he asks and lets the other person talk a lot. Like I heard him going like, and like, yeah, only a couple times. We get back to the villa and I'm like, ugh, this view will never cease to amaze me. And it's kind of getting cooler now. And he's like, hey, should we grab a drink? And then we can have the chef make us some dinner. And then we can head to bed because I have to be up for this investment meeting very, very early at 7 a.m. in the morning. And then, we can figure out what you want to do tomorrow. I'm like, great. The chef's like, what are you thinking? I'm like, I kind of want like an array of things, because I don't know if I want like a burger or fajitas or tacos or what. And Harley's like, okay. And he tells the chef just to make like a couple things. One of the tight bun girls makes me a margarita and then she gets a Modelo for Harley. We go out and we're sitting on the lawn chairs next to the pool and we're just kind of chatting. And he's like, I've never done this before. And I was like, done what? And he was like, flown a girl out as my first date to meeting her. I'm like, what? There's no way. And he was like, no, I'm very distrusting of people. I do not trust people. He was like, I'm actually like a little bit paranoid. I'm like, really? And he was like, yeah, well, when you grow up the way that I do, you are always second guessing what people's intentions are with you. But I really loved your energy and I just felt a connection with you. And I felt like you ask a lot of questions and you're very chatty and intuitive. And I love that you're not on your phone all the time and you're very present. And I was like, that's a very sweet compliment. Like, I really appreciate it. He was like, I've just kind of had a very difficult life. I've had a lot of trouble in my relationships because of my relationship with my father. And I've just had a lot of trouble maintaining relationships with women because of the fact that I don't always know what they're trying to communicate with me. It takes me a lot to try to understand them. And I was like, well, what was it like with your previous relationships? Like, he doesn't know that I had Googled him, y'all. And he's like, well, I was married previously in my early 20s and it didn't work out. I was in a 7-year relationship with a younger woman. We broke up 9 months ago. And I was like, oh, okay, well, what happened? And he's like, she was very, very jealous. It was a very tumultuous relationship. I gave her everything. I threw her parties all the time. I wanted to make her happy. I got her plastic surgery. I got her boobs done for her. I got her lips done for her. I got her new teeth. I bought her dogs. I bought her paintings. I bought her all these different things in our house together. And she just was never happy. She wanted to go out and party all the time, but anytime I wanted to step out of the house, she would throw a fit and a rage, and she had a temper on her. And unfortunately, I don't do well with someone that has a temper because of the fact that I grew up with a dad that has a temper. So if someone is yelling at me or doing confrontations with me, I immediately shut down and I just go into nonverbal. He's like, what about you? What about your previous relationships? I was like, well, I was married in my early 20s. It was to a man that we were together and got married a lot faster because he needed a green card. We were legit, but then he ended up cheating on me with everyone. If y'all want to know more about that, that is my Who the Hell Did I Marry series, which you can find in my series playlist. Trust me, that one is a wild ride. The food comes and y'all, the chef had made burgers, a quesadilla, and some chips and guac for us. I was like, ready to munch. So we're sitting there by the pool, we're just eating and chatting. He's having his like little Modelo. One of the staff members walks over and brings him a little round tray of pills. He was like, oh, thank you, Macy. Y'all, this woman works for the estate. She does not work for Harley. So I thought it was very interesting that she was giving him his pills. And I look at him and he looks over at me and he was like, oh yeah, I just have take some medication things that I have to take on the daily. I'm like, oh, is everything okay? Are like they vitamins and stuff? And he was like, yeah, it's just stuff that just like keeps my head on straight. I'm like, okay, keep this in mind, y'all. We finish eating and then he's like, hey, I really need to get prepared for this meeting tomorrow. So if you don't mind, I need to go do some more work. Do you want me to put a movie on for you? Or do you want to go take a walk on the beach? Or like, what is it? I was like, don't worry about me. You go do your work. Like, I'll figure it out. I stayed for a little bit longer. I'm just kind of like talking with the staff and they're telling me about how James Purse started the place and how he has a whole line that is connected to the villa. There's like a boutique where you can buy stuff and everything in the place is outfitted with all things that he's created. It's very interesting. I'm talking to the comb-over man about how he got to Mexico because he tells me that he was a college student that was going to school in California and he ended up coming to vacation in Mexico and just loved it so much and fell in love with the girl and decided to stay and just surfs and just lives in Mexico and he just absolutely loves it. And I was like, that's really cool. I'm getting really tired by this time. I want to say it's probably like 9 p.m. and I know it's really early, but I had a long day of traveling. We'd done a bunch of stuff, so I decided to go into the room. There's 5 suites in this place, you guys. The one that I walked into, Harley's stuff was not in there. So I was thinking that he understood that this was the first night that we were hanging out and I was not going to spend the night with him. And so I had my stuff in the other room that wasn't the master bedroom and I didn't know where he was. I knew that he was in his room and the door was closed. So I was just like, okay, I guess he's working. And so I go into the room, big bedroom with that big ass, beautiful shower, lots of beautiful linens, very minimalistic, tan walls. And I am just like on my phone scrolling and I'm laying on the bed. And at some point, because your girl had had like 5 margaritas at this point, had been up all day, the sun had been on me, and I do get tired in the heat, I fall asleep. The next thing I know, I'm being woken up and I feel something against my back. And I'm like, what is that? I kind of look over and I see that it is Harley. He is spooning me from the back and smiling at me. And I'm like, whoa, brother. I immediately like roll over the side and I'm facing him now. I am very clear about expectations before I do anything like this. And before, when we had spoken, I was like, I just want to make very clear expectations that you are bringing me there with no ulterior motives and know that I obviously know that you're interested in me romantically, but I need you to take things at my pace. Know that you providing an experience is not you buying my body, and that is just where I am. And he was like, absolutely. He was like, I just want to spend time with you. I don't expect anything to happen, and I just want to have a good time with you and see where this goes. I'm like, great. So when I turn and I look at him and he's smiling at me, I'm like, sir, what are you doing? And he was like, hey, you look so comfortable. And I'm like, okay, well. And he's like, does it bother you that I'm here? And I was like, look, this is our first night and I would like to sleep in the bed alone. And he was like, oh, you don't want to snuggle? You don't want me to sleep next to you? And I was like, I haven't decided if I want to sleep in the same bed with you. So he's like, well, we don't have to do anything. And I was like, I know that I don't have to do anything, but I think that I would prefer to sleep alone tonight. And then we can figure out how I'm feeling after we've spent a little more time together. And he was like, oh, we don't have to do anything. We'll just sleep. Like, I'll just lay here with my hands to my sides. I won't touch you. I'm like, I have to pee because I just woke up. So I look at the time and it's now like midnight. I go into the bathroom. I shut the door. I'm peeing for maybe, I want to say, y'all, like a minute or 2 minutes or however long it takes you to pee. I open the door. I look over on the bed. And he is facing the other way now in the bed. I walk over and I notice in the shadow of the night that his shoulders are shaking. I'm like, what? I'm like, hey, y'all. I hear, is this motherfucker crying? I look over. I go, Harley, are you okay? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, are you crying? He starts heaving, y'all. Heaving. This grown 40-something-year-old man is bawling in the bed. I walk over to the side of the bed that he's facing. I look down at him. His glasses are still on. They're all foggy, and he has tears running down his face, and the man is sobbing. So, yes, y'all. Things are going to start to unravel quickly. Don't worry. There is going to be more money spent and more good times had because I am with this man for a very, very long month. And it is a very up and down relationship. So stay tuned. Part 4. Why is this man crying? We're starting to see the red flags. What happens when we get back to LA and all the rest? Stay tuned. It's going to get wild, y'all.